Good morning. This is Caleb Mayberry, pastor of Renton Community Church, and I wanted to share with you this morning a couple of options for this Sunday's gathering. We are going to have an option for an in-person gathering this Sunday, the 12th, as we continue our study in the book of Esther. I'm excited to be able to worship together with you in person. We're going to have another option, which is continuing our online live stream. So we're going to live stream that same service so that if you do not feel comfortable joining together in person, you will be able to continue to access the live stream so that you're not left out of worship. Wanted to share some precautions that we're going to take as part of making sure people are healthy and stay healthy. These precautions are required by the government for the most part. So I wanted to read those and just make sure we're all aware. Masks will be required. We will have extra masks if for some reason you forgot yours, so we'll have some disposable masks on hand. Mask means over the nose and the mouth, and the mask needs to stay on at all times. When I'm preaching on the stage, it's okay not to have a mask, but pretty much everyone else and at all times. And when I'm not preaching, of course, I'll have a mask on as well. Please remember to keep in mind, it's not really just for your protection, but it's for protection of other people as well. And I know that some people will only feel comfortable being there in person if they know that everyone is following these precautions. In addition, there'll be a temperature check at the door. There'll only be one entryway into the building at the front door, and we'll take your temperature check through a forehead scan. If it's 100.4 or above, that is considered a fever, and we'll ask you to not enter the premises. In addition, seating will be placed 6 feet apart in varying configurations. So your family can sit together, however many are in your family, but the next group of seating all around will be at least 6 feet apart. In addition, there will be no food, coffee, or communion served this Sunday. We're trying to do everything we can to limit touch points as well. No physical touching. So I know it's hard not to give hugs and handshakes and whatnot, but just to ensure the safety of everyone and those who are, some of you might be more comfortable with that, but not everyone is. And so we need to assume that we want to be as safe as possible in respect for what other people are comfortable with. So a hi from 6 feet away, a bow, or whatever is your preferred form of greeting from 6 feet or further. Pretty much that's all the precautions. We'll have hand sanitizer. We'll have extra masks as well. I know it's different, and so this is a little bit of a trial run, but we're trying to make the best of the environment that we're in, and also the guidelines and requirements passed from our government, our local government. I just also wanted to give you a clue as to how I'm staying on top of the latest developments. My information is not coming from cable news. You get varying opinions depending on which is your preferred cable news provider. I'm looking at CDC data as well as our state of Washington health department data, and it's pretty interesting to look at that. If you look at the state of Washington, Department of Health has a dashboard which is very helpful. So indeed, if you look at just King County alone, confirmed cases are rising, but testing also has increased, and so it's not clear that we're getting an increase in a number of transmissions necessarily, but we are seeing more cases, perhaps because there's more testing. And you look at hospitalizations, they've gone down and they've kind of plateaued for a while. And if you look at deaths, they've also gone down and plateaued for a while. So you can look at that data. I'm looking at that data. And if we see an uptick in deaths or hospitalizations, I'm sure the government will also probably provide updated guidelines and requirements. And so we'll keep on top of that data, of course, following anything the government is suggesting. And so we'll need to stay on top of that and decide what, if anything, we need to change as far as how we gather. But for now, the precautions that we have in place are what I've mentioned. And so if you do not feel comfortable gathering in person, there is a live stream option. I encourage you to do that. If you do feel ready to gather in person, please follow those precautions. If you are older or if you have pre-existing conditions, I encourage you to stay home and to be safe. That's a risk that you'll have to look at the data and determine what risk you're willing to accept. But regardless, I look forward to seeing you all this Sunday as we continue the study of the book of Esther. Thanks and God bless.